Welcome to the webcast, TopCon MYAH and Wave Integration, where we'll scan, import, and design for simple, efficient specialty lens fitting. In this webcast, we'll give you an introduction to Wave Eye Care and the new TopCon MYAH and Wave Data interface. We'll show you how to identify and select high-quality topography scans and use those to easily design and modify Wave Ortho K-Night lenses. We'll also share with you key resources and clinical support that is provided by Wave Eye Care. Here's just a brief introduction for those of you who may be new to Wave Eye Care. We want to be your partner in personalizing specialty contact lenses that are tailored to each of your patients. And we do that through topography-based lens design software, impression-based technology, and diagnostic fitting sets. Wave Eye Care is really focused on making specialty contact lenses feel truly customized for every patient. And whether you're just getting started in specialty lenses, beginning to explore topography-driven designs like we'll be talking about today, or beginning to manage more complex cases and wanting to use impression-based technology, Wave gives you the tools, the technology, and the support that you need to fit with confidence at every stage of your specialty lens journey. And as you'll see in today's webcast, Wave takes topography data from specifically, we'll be talking about the TopCon MYAH, and brings it straight into the Wave design software. What that means is that you can design advanced, really personalized lenses based on each patient's unique cornea. The end result is really a more efficient process because we're taking fitting sets out of the equation. So that results in less chair time and a level of customization that's really hard to beat. Here's a brief overview of the Wave lens design software and its connectivity capabilities. The Wave lens software has been a leader in specialty contact lens design since 1999, and the software began with designing orthokeratology lenses. The platform is innovative, very user-friendly, computer-assisted design software that allows practitioners to design, model, and visualize topography and tomography-based lenses. Because we're using that data, each lens is personalized to match the specific shape and contour of the patient's eye, and that creates a really unique, custom, proprietary design. The Wave software allows users to design a full range of GP lenses, so that includes our night lens, which we'll talk about in this presentation, and it also supports scan-based custom designs for cornea lens, which is a traditional GP. And in addition to that, our scleral lens platform delivers great results when we pair that with profilometry for enhanced scleral coverage. We are currently compatible with the devices that you see listed here. And as you know, the TopCon MYAH is the newest addition, and we're very excited to talk more about that. Next, we'll talk about how the Wave process works. So if you have one of those diagnostic devices that was just mentioned, we will start with a high quality baseline scan. The Wave lens design software is integrated with each of those devices so that you are able to import it directly into the design software. Once you have the scan imported into the software, you're able to have complete control over the process from there. So you can see all of the aspects of the lens design, specify your material, coatings, change anything that you want to. Once you have your design finalized and where you want it, you hit order in your software and it's sent directly to our Wave IOSS, which is the internet ordering system. Once it's in the IOSS, it is submitted to the lab that's designated to your account, and you'll be able to follow the lens production from here. So it's a really useful tool, and it has all of your account information. You're able to reorder lenses, find pricing, and check for patients that are due for a replacement fit in the IOSS. Once the lens is in the internet ordering system, the lab will access it and download your order, and they'll begin to produce it. You have a designated lab that is assigned to the account. You do not have to set up that contract or that partnership. Wave does all of that for you. So once the lens is in production, the lab will obviously take care of the manufacturing and the shipping, but there's never any need for you to reach out to the lab directly. If you need anything at all, you just call Wave. And once the lens has been produced, it is shipped directly to your office where it is evaluated and dispensed to the patient. For those of you that may be new to Wave, we do just ask that you take a look to ensure that you have the IMAP Pro review software available before starting the onboarding process with Wave. If you're unsure what current version you have, the version is going to be listed in the top left corner. So when you open it up, you just take a look right here. And if it's updated, you'll see IMAP Pro listed there and know that you're ready to go. Next, we'll go through a few more details and maps that you may see on your TopCon MYAH that are helpful specifically for specialty lenses and particularly ortho-K lenses. On your MYAH screen, this is kind of your general overview map that you can see here. It shows you which eye is highlighted, and you can toggle between the OD and the OS. It shows you your K indices, white to white measurements, pupillometry. There's also a contact lens fitting software that they have in there, and it does also give you meibomian gland imaging. So when you take a scan on the MYAH, the scan is acquired by 24 placido disc rings. And once you have your scan, you can see on the right column that there's a few options, and we'll go through those a little bit more, but you can adjust whether you want your scale in absolute or normalized. You can toggle between the map view, so either axial or tangential, which is very helpful when it comes to ortho-K fitting. We're able to easily view our post-wear maps in tangential curvature. And the display button at the bottom allows you to choose whether or not to display the image of the actual eye, the map, the rings, and the numeric values associated with those. So you can kind of customize that just to how you like to view your scans. And you're also able to just click on the scan itself. So it's really interactive and it gives you data at that particular point. And here's just a more interactive view of how you're able to toggle between the views on the MYAH. So again, you see the absolute normalized view, the axial and tangential view on the map, and you can also increase your steps depending on the scale that you need to view the information. On the left-hand side, you do have more map views. You have a height map. The white to white measurement is there, axial length. We look at the height map a lot because it will give you the corneal eccentricity values, and just your SIMKs are also located there. Next is the white to white screen. Again, you get to that on the left-hand side. You click on it there. So the MYAH will automatically capture your white to white measurement. We do suggest to take a look at it and adjust it before importing into Wave. And you do that by clicking on the little yellow boxes that you see here. And you can adjust the width and it'll reflect your changes there. You can also move it from the central ring to make it more centered. Because Wave is so customizable, we use the white to white measurement for identifying a custom diameter for the patient. So it's really important just to double check that before importing into Wave. And next, we'll just talk a little bit about identifying and capturing a good scan with the MYAH software.
Okay, so now that you've seen some of the ins and outs of the IMAP Pro software, I want to talk about how to identify and capture a good scan. With any topography-driven software, the accuracy of your outcomes is only going to be as strong as the data that you capture. So these high-quality scans are really going to form the foundation of every successful design, which is why it's essential that your entire team really understands what a proper scan looks like and how to consistently achieve it. So the first thing that we want to focus on is just no errors. So using the device tools to assist in your capture is going to help achieve no quality score errors with your scan. The second thing that we really want to focus on is going to be just good coverage overall. So ideally, we would like to see 8 millimeters of coverage. And to achieve this, you'll most likely need to have somebody holding lids and lashes for your patients. And then finally, just overall consistency is going to be really important. When I say consistency, I mean you want to have 3 to 4 good quality scans that don't have any artifacts or any tear lakes inferiorly that have formed. And then on top of that, we also want to make sure that that data is repeatable. So you want to be looking at the Ks, the SIL, and the eccentricity on each of your scans and making sure that those numbers and values are matching closely together with your 3 to 4 good quality baseline scans. That way, you know that the baseline that you're choosing to design from is going to be true to their cornea. So you'll most likely get the best outcomes that way. All right, so we have a few different scans here to look through that are all different qualities. So I want to walk through how I would go about choosing my baseline scan to design a wave lens from. So if we look at the topography on the top left-hand side, you can see that there we have really great coverage, but the appearance is a little bit blotchy and patchy. So I assume that the tear film was a little bit disrupted on that scan. So we'd maybe try to avoid that one. If we look below that in the middle there, again, same kind of appearance there with the blotchiness, but on top of that, we're also missing that superior data and then also that inferior nasal quadrant as well. So we would definitely want to avoid that one. And then if we look at the very bottom there, you can see we have great coverage. And then this one just looks overall a lot better quality tear film wise, and it just looks like a normal cornea. So this scan would be a good option to use. If we look at the top right-hand side, this one is even better. You can see the difference. Of course, the coverage is very similar. The coverage is ideal, but we also have more of like a smoothed out appearance. So my assumption is that the tear film was intact with this scan. And so you can see a little bit of the difference still in the patchiness versus that smoother appearance. So this is the scan we would definitely want to use for this eye. Again, if we look down below that one, patchiness, we've got the blotchy appearance, and then we are missing that a little bit of superior data and inferior nasal quadrant as well here. So overall, we would definitely want to use that top right-hand scan and then the bottom left-hand scan. So that's how we kind of go through choosing our baselines. All right, so once you've captured your scans and you've chosen the baseline that you want to design from, I'm going to show you how to navigate to the export button to send that data into Wave. So you've chosen your scans, and then the first thing you want to do is go ahead and click that little globe there. Wave is going to be pre-selected for you. So from there, all you'll have to do is click export. Again, the folder for Wave is selected. You'll click export again. And then in a second, you're going to see on the bottom right, we have a pop-up that says the wave data successfully exported. So once you see that, you can open up your wave. We're going to click Import TopCon. And then these are the files that we exported. We'll open those, and then you can see you have your right and left eye topos here. So we'll start with the right, and you'll click Import. This is going to take you to your design software. So this is where we'll put in the patient spectacle RX. So we're going to put that in. We'll just do something simple like minus 250. Your HVID came over, and then you can update your pupil size if needed. Otherwise, your 4 millimeter pupil is designated there. And then we'll just go ahead and click Next. We're going to design a night lens. So you'll choose night lens. On the left-hand side, you have just some data that came over from your topography. You have the patient's prescription, their corneal sill information, and then just their average Ks there. And then the first thing I want to mention is your overall diameter is going to be preset for you. We are going to take off 0.7 millimeters from the patient's HVID. So you don't have to worry about selecting the diameter unless you choose to change it. You're welcome to do that. So diameter is set. We're going to walk through each of these selections here. Your target power will change based on the prescription for the patient. Your optic zone you can also modify. So if you want to be more aggressive with myopia management, you can go smaller to like a 5/8. Your IC diameter is always going to be 0.6 larger than your optic zone. So if you do change your optic zone size, you want to go ahead and adjust the IC. And then from there, central clearance, we always set to 0. And then everything else here is really set for you. So that left-hand side, those selections are the only thing you really want to focus on modifying based on each patient. And then from there, we're just going to go ahead and start the design. You'll click that. And then here we have just our overall design page. So I want to highlight a couple things before I talk about modifications. On the top right-hand side, we have our overall diameter at 11.3. You can see we have our center thickness, edge thickness, and then on the left-hand side, we just have our simulated fluorescein map. And then down below, we can see our tear film here. So that's really going to be the part of this design page that we're going to focus on the most is that tear film. When we did our testing for the integration with the MYAH into the WAVE software, we found that the edges were a little bit on the tight side. So we want to make sure for each new design that you have, you're loosening those edges. So to do that, you go to that little toolbox, and then you can see we're going to highlight alignment zone. We're going to click decrease sag to lift the edges, and we're going to do this by 15 microns in all meridians, and that is again for each new design. You'll click apply. And then you'll see that the pink and the gray dots were lifted, meaning the edges were lifted. You can see the difference there at the PC and the gray dot, which is the edge. So from there, that would be the only change that we would need to do before we order. So once you've made that change to the edge, we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to highlight some of these features on the right-hand side. We've got our patient's biometric data, which is just their prescription. And then if we scroll down a little bit, you've got lens type of material. Here you can modify the material of the lens if you choose. And then of course you can switch colors if needed. You can add a prism ballast, you can add a plasma treatment. And then we have markings, any clinical notes that you want to make, and just the overall summary. So then from there, you would click order. On the right-hand side, again, you can just double check your selections there. And then all we would do is click order and you are good to go. All right, so let's say you've seen your patient back and you need to make some changes. You'll want to pull up their most recent lens design. Once you have that pulled up on your screen, you can go ahead and navigate down to that bottom left-hand side, the modification area. And here we can make changes to the alignment zone. You can decrease or increase that sag. Same with the reverse zone. We can modify the base curve. And then, of course, we can increase or decrease that optic zone diameter. We also have the option here to make changes in one meridian. So you can choose which meridian you want to make the change in, or you can even do a semi-meridian. So lots of options there with customization. And then once you've selected your changes, you can hit apply. And then if you need to make any changes to say the material, the color, or if you want to add any coatings at this point, again, you have the option to do that there. All right, I want to show you how to get to our resources page. So once you open up your WAVE software, on the bottom left-hand side, you'll see a little question mark. You can click that and that will open up this page that you can see here. This is where we have our built-in resources section, so you can easily access your order tracking and internet order status system, or as we call it, IOSS. We also have WAVE Academy, which has our certification course and additional training videos like our internal astigmatism correction. We have a full library of our past WAVE webinars, and we also have some short videos for you to view as well. And then you can also find links to our technical support bookings as well as our clinical support booking link as well. And then we've created some quick guides for each lens type that you can download to house on your desktop or print out if you'd prefer that. And then I wanted to also talk about our concierge lens design service. This is really great if maybe you're just a little bit too busy in clinic to design and modify your wave lenses, or if you just want a more hands-off approach, you're welcome to utilize our concierge service where Catherine and I will design and modify your lenses for you. It's very simple. You just fill out the form with all of the patient's refraction info, any, pertinent information for that patient as well as exporting the scans to us. And then from there, we will design and order those lenses for you. And that can be done for our night lenses, our cornea lens, or scleral lenses as well. All right, and then I just wanted to pop up our contact info. Feel free to email us at info@waveeyecare.com. And then, like I said, you can schedule a live demo or a clinical support session with us at wavecontactlenses.com/booking. And then finally, that will conclude our presentation. Thank you so much.